What's going on, Ambitious Vets? Welcome to episode number 36 of the Ambitious Vet Show with Navy veteran and international motivational speaker and coach, Sebastian Hernandez. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine combat veteran turned passion-driven entrepreneur. Now guys, we are here to dive into the trenches with today's top-performing military veterans that were once warrior-made, but are now passion-driven. Now guys, as they share their stories, their failures, and their journeys of what it took, we just hope that this unlocks your secret formula to living a more impactful, meaningful, and purpose-driven life. All right, veterans. So if you're listening to this right now, I know that you are a veteran that's looking for more out of the uniform. You probably have a big vision, but you don't know the first steps on executing that. It's totally fine. Guys, we got a tribe called the Ambitious Vet Tribe on Facebook where we have over 530 ambitious vets in the trenches sharing tools, strategies, and resources, guys, just with the end goal to how do we narrow the time gap in executing our next mission out of the uniform and creating a life that impacts. So guys, if that is something that you're trying to do, right, connect the dots, network with other top performing veterans out of the uniform, making it happen. Guys, I encourage you guys to sprint over to the Ambitious Vet Tribe on Facebook and be that action taker that I know you are. We'll see you there. All right, Ambitious Vets. Now let's talk about, for those of you guys that have not downloaded the app that millions are using internationally, Audible. Guys, it helps narrow the time gap and the knowledge gap that you guys need to implement your next mission with velocity, guys. With Audible, it's only $14.95, one title a month. You can cancel anytime. And guys, I listen to one a month and I read a physical book a month. So that's 2 books, maximizing my time while I'm in my commutes and gaining the wisdom and the practical knowledge that I need to get out there and execute and create a life of impact. Guys, the link will be in the show notes, guys. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce today's guest. Today's guest is going to be Sebastian Hernandez. Now, Sebastian is a U.S. Navy veteran, turned international motivational speaker and global entrepreneur who's out there in the trenches internationally, just seeking out to empower individuals to innovate, ignite their inner passion, to live a life that's actually worth living. Now, he is a really good close friend of mine. You guys are going to love this one. We guys get raw, really deep, and we get really entrenched into our transformative background. We've both spent around 5 years in an international personal and professional development company called Landmark Worldwide. So you're going to hear a lot of verbiage, linguistics around that. But guys, I promise you, for those of you guys that are out there looking to figure out how to give up the scarcity and the fear of giving up stability out of the uniform, living a life that you really, really want, you're going to want to listen to this one all the way to the end. Me and Sebastian get raw, deep, and we share personal, practical steps on how to give up that fearful scarcity feeling of giving up stability. This man has one of the biggest hearts that I've ever met, and he shares his story as actually giving up a top earner position at a financial network marketing company to start utilizing his true gifts and passions and purpose in life and living as kind of like a nomad throughout the world, which he's still doing that today, guys. Without further ado, that's enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and dive into the trenches with international motivational speaker and entrepreneur, Sebastian Hernandez. Let's go get it. You there, brother?
What's up, you guys? What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. Like I said, I'm excited for this, brother. I mean, I was telling Sebastian before he went live, guys, that I knew I didn't even have to prepare for this. This is a guy that I know the conversation just flows rhythmically. And it's just, you're just an amazing guy, man. Your heart is wide open and you've experienced a lot and you've got a lot of wisdom to drop in here, man. So go ahead and fill the gaps from that introduction, man, and have them get to know Sebastian as a human being, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that awesome introduction. I guess the best way to describe it is I truly do believe in people. I think that's the best way. Is I truly do believe in people. I truly do believe that people have the capability of achieving extraordinary things once they let go of all the limiting beliefs and things that have happened in their past that stop them from getting how powerful they are. Right. And so for me, it's that passions me, that drives me to be able to see somebody that's stuck or that's just not living fully for whatever reason, and to see that transition first and foremost, to have received the call that they're ready to do something big, and then to actually take the courage, the steps, the leap of faith to go and do it. That takes something. Yeah. And to see somebody go through that process and then at the end, at the other side, see them just transform, it's like, whoa. That's amazing. So if we could see that for the whole world, I think that's my passion. So if I could do that for the whole world, or at least start traveling and go to different countries and do that in different countries, man, I'm living my dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell the audience where you're at right now and what your travel plans are.
All right. So as of just this whole year has already started, right? So January, I got to go to Peru, got to take a group out to Peru, work with some medicines out there. February, I was out in San Diego. This month, I'm out here in Florida. Next month, we will be in Colombia. May will be in Ecuador, and June, we will be in Brazil. Right. And so the idea is to continue to expand. And I haven't even shared what's the rest of the year. Right. So there's more to come. Right. But it's powerful to be able to create and see that it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge, man. And I acknowledge you before this, man, but I really just acknowledge you for being someone that's thinks bigger than just our country here. Right. Thinking about the developmental countries and figuring out what would they be like if you broke their mental barriers and increased their social economics, their thought processes and stuff like that. So that's huge, man, that you're doing retreats in small villages and bringing consciousness and leadership principles inside these villages that, they're setting out there being like, well, that's great for people in America, but what about us? Right.
Yeah.
Who's going to be our thought leader. Right. And man, that's pretty awesome stuff, man. That's pretty awesome stuff. So I want to acknowledge you for that. So before we kind of dive in, we got John Krotex that says, hey brother. John is a guy that, he's created a business directory called Green Zero, where pretty much, it's making veteran commerce easier to get connected to the American corporations and stuff. So he's doing some really good things. John, thanks for joining us. Ben Keloy, moderator inside the group. He's a life coach as well. Welcome. John says, hey, Sebastian.
What's up, brother?
Joined. Guys, if you guys have any questions or if we're dropping golden grenades that are kind of sparking some light bulb moments, just let us know. So, brother, diving right back into you, man, tell us a little about your transition story out of the uniform.
Man, so once I got out in 2010, and I was clear that I had to get out. And I was clear that I had to get out because I was too comfortable. You see, that was what made it was. I was too comfortable. I remember I was sitting in the armory and I was just cleaning the guns when all of a sudden my friend goes up to me, he goes, dude, so what's up? Are you going to stay in or are you going to get out? I'm like, dude, what do you mean? I make good money. I get to travel the world. I don't really do it. Like, I get to do so much amazing things here. Like, it's cool. And he's like, yeah, but is that really what you want? I'm like, well, I'm comfortable. So he goes and he gives me this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the moment he gives me this book, I read it in 2 days. I read the entire thing and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not meant to be here. I need to go find my freedom. I'm an entrepreneur. I need to go do that. So I was clear that I had to get out. But in that transition of getting out, it was scary, right? It was scary. And at the same time, it was liberating. It was liberating. I'll never forget the moment I got off that bow, I felt freedom for the first time. Freedom in the sense of, wow, I get to choose what I want. I get to be what I want. I don't have to wake up somewhere at 6 a.m. to go muster. I can be free. And that was where it really started, that I enjoyed that feeling. Not only did I enjoy it, I was willing to do whatever it took to keep that feeling of freedom. Now, in the process, it was going to school, right? And obviously with the BAH, we get our money. And so that provided that aid to really be able to divulge. I'm like, all right, well, what do I want to do? Right.
Yeah.
But in the process, it was just the journey of discovering, right? I think the BAH gave me an access to really just not have to focus about how to make money, but rather, what do I want to make money in? Right. and did a lot of stuff throughout the process. But most importantly, I think it wasn't until I had to get real with myself, and in that transition was, what do I really want, right? Because it's easy to get stuck in a job. It's easy to go find another paycheck. It's easy to go find another substitution, right? Because I felt that freedom. But after I felt that freedom, it was very easy to go back into it, meaning go back to a job where now I have to go and wake up again at 6 a.m. Now I have to go and listen to somebody else. Now it's like, wait, that's the whole reason I left the military. I didn't leave the military because I didn't like it. I left the military because I was comfortable. And at that point, I had to get connected. I'm like, all right, this comfortable stuff doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. And so I did. I took it on. I became a barber. I became a licensed barber, started working at a barber shop, did that for a couple months. And then I realized, all right, I'm not passionate about this anymore. I'm only doing it for the money. Therefore, I dropped it. Then I went into finances. I started doing really good in finances, started doing really good. But then I realized this isn't my passion either. It's comfortable, but it's not what I want. It's not what I want. And so in that entire transition was constantly, what do I want? But I was willing to go full at it and fail miserably and continue to say, that's not it, next. That's not it, next. And that's what it's been. It's been a constant, what do I want stage. And in that, what do I want? It's, this isn't it. If this isn't it, then what is? And getting that clarity to now be in a place where it's like, I know what I want. And now I get to live it. I get to do it. I get to be an experience of it, of living a life that you truly designed. And now I get to say, I designed my life. I just designed the next 3 months to go to 3 different countries, right? Now, you would have asked me that 3 years ago. I don't know if that would have been possible, right? The mindset was definitely there, but the experience wasn't. And so therefore I got caught. It's easy to get caught up on everything needs to be perfect before I take the next lunge. Everything needs to be perfect. And I learned this from another motivational speaker that I thought was powerful. He goes, process over perfection. He goes, process over perfection. Good. Don't worry about trying to do it right. Just do it. And once you do it, you can now build upon that and build and build and build. Right. Most times it doesn't get done just simply because you don't take the first step. And I think that was what has helped me get here. I've kept moving forward, even in the midst of struggle, even in the midst of failure, even in the midst of doubt, even in the midst of feeling the whole world went against me. I still said, I know what I want now because I've done the work in discovering what I don't want.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome, brother. I mean, there's a lot in what you shared, brother. I mean, ultimately I heard like letting go of the fear of stability, letting go of control, letting go of control of your life. And also just seeing what manifests based off you getting up in the morning and just being. A lot of us have this like fixed mindset of we have to be here, we have to be doing this. And we're structured based off a clock, right? Our whole life is structured off this clock, like we're running out of time. Our whole life is designed off scarcity, right? But you, man, everything you did, you grew quickly. I mean, we've been good friends for 5 years. Everything that you've done, you've rised up very quickly because you're a charismatic, very well-spoken, just passionate human being. And anybody that has a fiery passion behind what they're saying and their way of being and their experience, anybody will follow that. So, man, I was the same way, man. Whenever I was deployed in Afghanistan, I read the book Think and Grow Rich. I met a sergeant in the Marine Corps that started challenging me. He's like, you're sloppy, you're disgusting. And you're a great Marine, but you're just you're a sloppy human being. He's just like, start reading these books, man. Fix yourself. And I was like, aye, Sergeant. You know what I mean? So I started reading books. I read Think and Grow Rich, and it just expanded my mind. It expanded my mind. It's crazy how life will put people, books, certain things in your life to spark something that just has you gain a deeper self-awareness of yourself or a bigger level of thinking to attract bigger opportunity. See, what I hear and what you ultimately shared, brother, is I heard that you got out, you had some time, which the GI Bill is great. I'm an advocate of taking advantage of free education. I'm a huge advocate of that. Taking advantage of free education to give you that grace period to kind of figure some shit out when you're out of the uniform. But then, man, you became a barber. You figured that out. You found something. You found a different skill set. You learned how to make money out of the Marine Corps, or out of the Navy, right? You were in the Navy. Yeah. Sorry about that, Navy. And then you got into financial services and you started making a lot of money. So you started building up small wins that had you realize yourself in a bigger way. That's what I hear in what you said, because we both know, man, you killed it in your financial endeavors.
Well, I wouldn't. You see, here's the thing, but it wasn't authentic.
Yeah.
You see, it wasn't authentic. And so therefore, I always find it surprising when people say that I was very successful when they were seeing me, because that was a facade that I had to portray, because that's what I was striving to achieve, the whole fake it till you make it aspect. Right. And it wasn't until I dropped that facade and I had to get really real with myself that I had to be able to lead myself even when I wasn't that passionate. You see, it's very easy to follow someone that's passionate and has that charisma. But how do you follow someone when they don't have that? And I didn't have that. I reached the point when I got really real with myself that I had to connect with, like, damn, I'm a phony, because I'm not doing what I really want. I'm putting on the suit and pretending that I'm something, but is that really what I own? Is that who I really want to represent myself? Who am I? And I think most importantly, and especially in what I focus on and when I coach people, is I focus on 3 fundamental questions. First one is, who are you? Like, really, who are you? Not like a fixed answer, but rather like an inquiry of a discovery it's not fixed. It's a constant discovery. But yet we constantly label or relate to ourselves as a fixed thing. I am a coach. So therefore now you live inside of this paradigm of I am a coach, right? Or I am a barber. So now I live inside of this paradigm of I am a barber.
Yeah.
Right? So no. That is a constant creation of who I am. Who are you? Not just in your past, but then who are you in your created future, right? And then being able to collapse those 2 things, and who you are is a combination of your past and your future right now in the present. But most times we don't create the future. We don't even know what we want to be in the future. We don't know what we want to be when we grow up. Right.
Yeah. We want to be stable. We want to be stable, man.
Well, more than stable, though. What if it was something more than stable? You see, because the first thing, again, is knowing who you are. But then the second thing is, well, you now know who you are, but now what is your purpose? What do you exist? What are you willing to die for? Like, really? What now? Being in the military, we wrote our name on a contract stating that we were willing to die for our country. Now, once we get out of the military, what are we willing to die for now? And what are we willing to really give our entire life to? And consider that is inside of that is your purpose. Now, if you can fulfill on your purpose, all of your goals, dreams, everything you've ever desired will fall into that, because that is all aligned with your fullest, truest self, your fullest purpose. That's the second one. The third one is, well, now you know what your purpose is, and now you know who you are. But now, what are you worth? Not based off how much money you have in your bank account, but what are you worth as a human being? What is value? You can't buy loyalty. You can, but the moment you have no more money, that loyalty is gone. So did you really buy it? No, you can't buy loyalty. You earn it. And that's something that's priceless. Honesty, that's priceless. There's no money that can buy someone's honesty. And so when you start to realize that there's things far more valuable than just the money, and you start to own it, you start to earn more money. Because you're based off of your character as of who you are. Albert Einstein said it best. Don't become a man of success, become a man of value. When you understand your value, you now manifest and create because you know you deserve it. You now stand inside of that greatness of, I know who I am and I know where I'm going. And I know what my purpose is here. And I'm willing to die for that purpose. So therefore, I know what I'm worth.
It's good.
Right?
That's good. That's a good 3. Good 3 core fundamentals on how do you grow as a human being right off of that core 3 pillars that you have there, man. I think that's super powerful. I think a lot of people don't know their worth. I think a lot of veterans are getting out of the uniform and they just don't know how to take care of themselves. I was one of those people. I got out of the Marine Corps at 24 years old, getting out, just leaving my mama pretty much, right? So I had no sense of how to be responsible as a grown adult. I had the government structure every daily behavior. And like you said, I was standing for something big, so I felt like a complete badass. But when I got out, I went from Superman to Clark Kent. And I realized that Clark Kent bleeds. And I realized that Clark Kent doesn't have sidekicks, doesn't have the support around him as much. I didn't think. And I got in that fixed way of thinking. But I ultimately hit a breaking point, but then I realized that I had a breaking point, and then I got authentic, kind of like what you were saying. And I realized that, wow, the world isn't out to get me. There's no one to blame but myself. And I start asking my deeper questions of who am I? What do I really want to be doing? If fear and time were no worry for me, what would I be doing? Right? If I wasn't afraid to not be stable, what would I be doing? Right? People are always trying to stay ahead above water and survive and keep this social economic status that us as veterans want to get out and maintain that status as this badass that we don't necessarily get to a place of like,
restart.
I'm actually a private. I'm not a sergeant in the Marine Corps anymore. Right? So anyways, brother, we got some good engagement here. I want to just call out a few people. Bennett Tanton just joined. Thanks for joining, brother. John Krotek said Napoleon Hill's book is a classic. That it is, brother. Anybody that's in this tribe or anybody that's going to watch this that has not picked up any Napoleon Hill stuff, go and pick it up. Bing Keloy says 10% of people will ever read a book after college. So I think he's saying 10% of people will never read a book after college. So if you're reading to better yourself, know you're in the top 10%. That's good stuff. John Kotek says, I read 33 last year. I guess that's 33 books. I'm on 4 for 2018. They're all in the chat, man. They're all talking about reading books and knowledge, brother. Ben Keeley says, who are you? We are not a fixed thing. Great reminder. Who we are is a combination of our past and future. What is your purpose? What are you willing to die for? What are you worth as a human being? Yeah, man, you're dropping golden grenades, brother. You're dropping Ben. You're touch moving, inspiring people.
Good, man. I'm glad. Again, that makes me happy. That's what you see. Again, that's what reminds you of who you are.
Yep.
You don't know what your gift is until you constantly start giving it out. And you don't know unless you give it out. And again, it's the whole process before perfect. You don't know until you put yourself out there. And then that's when you get feedback. You're like, oh, I guess this stuff really does make sense. Oh, I guess people do enjoy this. Whoa, this makes sense to people.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely, brother. And we're going to dig deeper into the trenches right now. And I know you're going to love that.
Let's do it.
Before we do that, we got Emmanuel Jocks that just joined live, man. You give a shout out to
man. Absolutely. You know what? I just saw Black Panther last night and I kept thinking about him. I'm like, dude, you look just like him, bro. Like you are the Black Panther of the financial markets, bro.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. You need to connect with him, man. He's diversifying his passions and purpose, kind of like where you're at right now. He's leveraging, leveraging some other things. So I'll definitely reach out to him, connect with them. He's doing some cool things.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, brother, I want to dive in a little bit deeper on what you said, because you got out of the uniform, used the GI Bill, went and got some college education, became a barber, climbed up a very successful network marketing company, became like one of the top ranks there. What did you do to really figure out what it is that you were doing for an ambitious vet that's going to be watching this, that is at that stage of like, man, who am I? Right? Like, how do I do it? How did you finally find that? I mean, I get that you went through, failure and doing a lot of things, not figuring out, but how would you describe how you find your purpose and your individuality out of the uniform?
Again, you have to be real with yourself. And it's getting really real with yourself, like asking the questions, what do I want? Who am I? And so when I talk about doing the transformational work is oftentimes going into our past and looking all the negative stuff that has been triggering us and causing trauma in our life and doesn't let us move forward, because they affect us and they affect the way we see ourselves and the future. So therefore, it's go back over there and consider that trauma happened as a valuable lesson. But you have to be willing to let go of the victim mentality and put on the warrior mindset, which is I'm going to warrior myself into seeing what was the point of this? There was a lesson behind it. There was value in it. I no longer choose to be a victim of my past. I am a warrior of my past. Hence the reason why I can now strive forward.
Yeah.
And it starts to give you that power of who am I? It's acknowledging your past, acknowledging what you want, what you don't want, acknowledging like, what do you really want? Who are you in the sense of what do you want to accomplish? And not based off what your parents think, not based off what your family thinks, not based off what your friends think, not based off what society thinks. Like, you go out, go find a secluded spot, go camping, go do something, go hike in the mountains and be with yourself.
Yep.
Be just with yourself.
Yes.
By yourself.
As scary as that will be, as us as military guys and gals that are just used to pop, 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 pop all the time, like, yes, I would 100% agree. You've got to get out, silence the reactivity, silence the expectation around you, and just come from within. So that's awesome, brother. So I would just add to that. I mean, once you do get quiet, say you do find out what it is that you really want to be doing, what would you say would be the first steps in them getting out there and starting to take that on?
You said it. Take the first step. It's that simple. Again, process over perfection. We start thinking of the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then we then end up having an entire plan, and we still haven't taken any action.
Yeah.
It's take the first step. Just do it. Just do it.
Figure it out.
Once you take that first step, then consider that if you truly know where you're going, and then you will be given the answer once you get to that one. You can't know what step 3 is until you do step 2. Fully, you can plan, but if you're familiar with business, nothing ever goes as planned. Not always, right? There's always all these different things. So therefore, it's you take the step. Mm-hmm. You prepare for what's ready, but you take the step. And after taking that step, you going at it again. And it's, again, the leap of faith, because it's scary. It can be very scary, because it's now putting yourself in a position where you're not taking an order. Nobody's telling you to do it but yourself. So therefore, you now have no one to blame or to put the finger to but yourself. And that can be very scary, especially if we're not comfortable with taking responsibility for our lives. That's really what it boils down to. It's take responsibility for your life. So therefore, I now have to lead myself. I often tell people leadership is not about how many followers you have. Matter of fact, leadership is about, are you willing to lead when you have no followers? Are you willing to go up in the front even when no one's willing to follow you and follow through? That's leadership, because you're not doing it to lead others. You're doing it because you're leading yourself. And hence, that's why people follow, because they say, wow, this person has trust in themselves. So therefore, I'm going to trust them. How often do we trust ourselves that we can actually get to where we want to go without the use of anybody outside of us? It's like I tell people, it's like, wait, you were born by yourself and you're going to die by yourself. Why do you feel the need to have someone tell you what to do? If you came in, you're leaving by yourself. In the process, you must learn how to be with yourself. And by being with yourself, you now have access and power to be with others. You now have something to provide others.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's his gold, brother. I mean, I think, like, you know, what there is for me to say around that, to this, like, kind of reiterate it from what I took from that, and other people that are watching this can drop the golden grenades and see what they took from that, is that really at the end of the day, it's us as human beings that have to just let go of the scarcity mindset and just give out the structure. And I'm reading this book right now called The Art of Not Giving an F, which is a great book because I care way too much about everything. I care way too much about how much money is in my bank account. I care way too much about what kind of people I'm surrounding myself with. I care way too much about, you know, my status, all this kind of stuff, to where if I just shifted my mindset and just was just like, you know, I really don't give an F, you know, then it gives you freedom to just be. And I don't think that a lot of us know, I don't think a lot of us understand the power of just like giving up this control factor of life and just giving up caring so much about things. And just being alacritive. Because it's like you said, we're designed as military guys and gals, if we serve 4 years like I did, or how many years did you serve?
4.
Or if you did 20, like one of my clients I'm coaching right now did 20, right? Yeah, he still is dealing with this sense of like, well, how do I start? Right? How do I start? How do I strategize? Yeah, it's like, it's all this, okay, how do you strategize? How do you implement? How do you execute at high levels? But ultimately, like, how do you go from somebody that was known for something, had a rank, to going to, okay, now what's this? How do I become like a gunnery sergeant out in the civilian world? So I think a lot of us, we start living in our glory days of that I was a has-been versus, now I get to take all those damn skill sets and analyze what those skill sets were, the team building, right? The coaching, the PT, how you structured and built teams, how you implemented orders and stuff like that, and bring that. How do I design something that's going to make an impact to a specific niche that I'm passionate outside, right? And then creating accountability around that. I interviewed Jordan Kessner on this show, like I'd say like 5 months ago, and he says the number one thing that most startups or passionate veterans miss are a business accelerator. And a business accelerator could be a mastermind. It could be a business coach, life coach, whatever it may be, that's going to help you stay clear for execution. Because if we're just trying to set out and go after our own stuff by ourselves, eventually we're going to hit a roadblock and our mind's going to go immediately right back to those trauma moments that you said. Right, brother? And once we hit a roadblock, where does our mind go? We go right back to how we survived whatever that reminded us of before, versus, and then we would retract, right? Like me, I can only speak on my behalf, but I'll retract whenever adversity happens. Like right now I'm dealing with the retractness. I was sharing with you before this, kind of what I'm dealing with in my own life. And it's just like, I'm finding myself kind of retract versus attacking. Like when we were in the military, we attacked, man. We just went for it because we had our brothers and sisters around us. We had these fine-tuned skills that we went through boot camp that taught us not to act off emotion, but just attack. And we rocked and rolled things, right? So it's like, how do you bring that to the marketplace? Get into a corporation, climb up very quickly by just being strategic and doing those kind of, bringing those strategies, the skill sets, yada, yada. Because I tell you, the one thing that most business owners, business people like me, if someone comes to me like this, like the biggest thing I hate, I'll be straight up honest right here live with everybody. And we got people commenting here, but I hate when someone comes in, Chris, how are you doing on Facebook Messenger? It doesn't matter how I'm doing. What do you want? Like as soon as I log in on Facebook, I get 10 messages right then there. Hey, Chris, how you doing? What are you doing? Can you promote this product? Whatever. I like someone being direct. I like someone being, hey, Chris, you're doing some great things for a lot of veterans. I think there's something that I could help create a win-win out of this for both of us. When can we schedule a conversation? Right? Like directiveness. And that's what us veterans have, is we can speak what we need very directly with an end result attached to it. And civilians are more emotionally driven. So you got to kind of paint your words. So it's just like, how do you get your point across, but also be empathetic to the person you're speaking to? I can tell you, anybody that's going to watch this in any group I post this on or anything, how you're going to communicate to me is you're just going to communicate in a way that's, hey, man, create a win-win, create an end result that's going to help both of us, and then I'll schedule a call with you. I mean, would you agree, brother, or how would you describe that?
That's pretty much what we did, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we did. And again, it's well, you said a lot, right? You touched on a lot of things. You touched on a lot of different things. So how do you again, it's take the step, right? And how do you be more direct? Man, that as you say that, I think I'm like, yeah, that's so funny, because I do see that a lot, where it's like people sometimes as military, it's like, just tell me, what do you want, right? It's like, it's like there's this fluff conversation, and then it's like no, let's go to the fluff. Just tell me, what do you want? it'll be that much easier to communicate, right? But I think that's a skill set, though. I think that's a skill set that gets learned, right? I did want to touch on something in regards to how do you start to create that image, or how do you go from being a sergeant, right, and then going into civilian life and getting connected, like, oh, I'm not that anymore. And then how do I build myself up again? I think oftentimes we don't know what the end result is. We don't know. Like in the military, you have ranks. No, it's like you got ranks. That's the rank I want. So I'm going to do everything I can to get there, and I'm going to do that until I get there.
Right.
Well, we leave the military, and now you're on this open platform called life, right? And you're free, and it's like, all right, now how do I get to? Wait, there's no rank systems here. Oh, I have to create it. Oh, how do I create it? Where do I start? Who do I look for guidance, right? And so one of the things that I do with all of my clients, the first thing is I start to create that archetype, meaning starting with the end in mind, like to really start to create. Well, let's take the case that based off quantum physics, there is an infinite amount of possibilities. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, in that infinite amount of possibilities means that anything is possible. Yes.
Anything.
Perfect. Anything. So therefore, take the case that somewhere out there in the immense amount of universe, there exists a version of you that is the ultimate, highest version, supreme version of you. The ultimate. It's got everything he's ever wished, desired, dreamed of. Everything is at his grasp. He has it, right? So now, if you know that person exists, well, let's get acquainted with that person. Who is that person? What does that person have? That's the highest version of you. What does that person have? And allow yourself to get very connected. Who is that person? How does he relate to himself? How does he walk? Where does he live? Like, who is he as a presence? When you're in his presence, that highest version, let's take the case, you bring him here. Now you bring him here because if it's in reality, if it's out there in the world, that means that it comes from you. You created it. And based off quantum physics means that anything is possible. That means that the moment you create it, it's real. Out there in the universe, it's real. And if it's real, that means that you have everything it takes to get there because it's you. You have everything you have everything it takes to become that person that you've already created. So now it's bringing that person here and now stepping inside of that person and knowing I am that person. I'm just now going through the motions to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start with the end in mind. So therefore it's who am I being right now? Am I honoring that highest self? If not, then I get to now be conscious of my actions that are not aligned with that highest self. Now, here's the thing. In the moment you declare yourself being that highest self, moment you declare,
you charge for this content, man.
Bro, well, this is what I do with my clients, right? But really, the moment you bring that person here, life is going to tell you why you're not that person. Yep. That's where you go to do the work and say, I am this person. I'm working through it. I'm going through the journey. I'm going through the process. You can either watch me, you can motivate me, you can inspire me, you can critique me, you can judge me, you can do whatever you want. It's not going to stop me from getting where I need to go.
Right.
The power, again, of knowing who you are, what your purpose is, and what you're worth.
Right. Brother, I mean, that's boom. It's a mic drop, man. I mean, that's amazing, man. It's like, I would just add the biggest thing that I see to coaching ambitious veterans, that's what I do, is like the biggest thing that stops them is they take that first step, but then they hit the criticism, they hit the judgment. And then that's whenever they start retracting, like I said, versus attacking. There's a sense of like, whoa, stuff there. So, I mean, it's having the resilience, the relentlessness, and the fearlessness to embrace the chaos along the journey.
It's believing that it's true.
Yeah.
Even if nobody else sees it.
Yeah.
That's vision.
Yeah. It's good.
And having faith that no matter how chaotic it gets, that's happening. Why? Because I said so. Period.
Love it, brother. So, brother, I'm going to give some shout outs. We got a lot of engagement because people are loving what you're talking about. And then we're going to dive a little deep. I know
we're going late, man. But it's been a while since we caught up, man. Anytime like, damn, we need to create some content together or something, man.
We are.
We are right now, but we're going to create something bigger. That's what we're going to do. John Krotek says, I like the book Against Empathy too. He said also kind of the same concept about not caring. Read it. So guys, John Krotek, big influencer in the military space. Follow anything that he says. Biggest quote that he ever gave me that impacted my life, and he was interviewed on this show, was keep going. No matter what's going on in your life, just keep going. And that man almost lost his wife, almost lost his life, his life. It rhymed. That's why I was like, wife and life. And now he's thriving in business and working with Harley Davidson and all this kind of good stuff. So he's doing some good things. Ben Keloy says, when we give up the idea of what others think, we learn to live our own life. Ooh, good stuff. Good stuff. Hashtag Golden Grenade. John said he had to go. Take care, John. And Ben Keloy is just dropping all this stuff that he's taken away. He says, nothing changes if nothing changes. Take the first step today, no matter how small it is, but just take it now. Sense of urgency. So good stuff, brother. Good stuff. Roberto, man, thanks for joining, man. I just talked to you this morning. Welcome to the show. If you have any questions or anything, brother, dive in. We're in the trenches with Sebastian Hernandez, who's pretty much just a global motivational speaker and someone that just empowers people with innovation and new thought processes to take their life to the next level. So, brother, I want to ask you, what was your biggest failure when you got out of the uniform, and what did you learn from it?
My biggest failure was not accepting my ego. Right. I think, and it was repetitive. And I think I still, not to say that it's gone, right? I still would have to work with it, but I have to say ego, right? It's getting out and thinking that I'm better than people because I served, or thinking that I'm better than people because of my current circumstance, or right. And reaching a point where being humbled either by my decisions and by life circumstances, you start to really realize, wow, I was really arrogant and hot-headed. And, so I think that was one of the biggest things, was just getting connected, how transferring out, you have one mindset. And because you see, here's the thing, I've always been the rebel. Even when I was in the military, man, I never really liked following instructions, never. And here's the ironic thing. And even then I did really good. But I figured out ways to be on my own. How do I do just enough so I can get enough of a rank, that way people can leave me alone, and now I can do my own thing, right? So getting out of the military was always that mindset of doing my own thing. But in the process was now being able to realize that not everybody in the civilian life has your back like in the military. I felt that in the military, there's a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood that gets achieved because you're on the same mission. When you hit civilian life, everyone's on their own mission, right? So it's this shared vision of being in the Navy. You're on a boat, no matter how many people on it, whether it's 2 or it's 5,000. If that boat goes down, the whole boat goes down. So therefore, if anything goes down, we're all one unit to make sure that boat stays afloat. It's no longer about age. It's no longer about race. It's no longer about your background and your history. When they call general quarters, it's general quarters. It's I got your back, you got my back, because we got to make sure we all survive.
Right.
Civilian life, you don't see that. There's racism, there's prejudice, there's all, and not to say that it's not in the military, right? But I don't see it as prominent as it is in the civilian life. So I think having to deal with that, like, wow, okay, pick your friends closer.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I mean, that's good, man. Ego is a big thing, because you get out, I feel like a lot of vets get out feeling entitled a little bit, right? Like, people owes them a little bit. And for you to kind of let go of, I use the acronym edging growth out. When I hear ego, edging growth out, primarily because if the ego in psychology theory is like, that's the thing that has to feel important, right? And when you're feeling important, no one else can feel important around you, right? If you're the energy sucker in the room, Like I always teach through like application. How do you implement this and stuff like that? But it's like, if you're the most important person in the room and you're the energy sucker, how do you ever expect opportunity to naturally flow your way? Right? The most important in the room is the person that's listening more and listening supremely to what's actually missing in any setting, situation, or circumstance that they're in. Right? But to get clear on what's missing, you got to let go of the ego and you have to become a learner.
Yeah. Well, listening again, it's listening from a place, listening from nothing.
Yes.
Listening from trying to prove a point.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I love it. Yeah. And prove a point. That was brilliant right there, man. Proving a point. We all want to try to prove our worth, earn our worth through our words and what we're doing. And really what there is to do is kind of disappear around and allow other people to kind of show up around you. And not enough people do that. Not enough people do that. So good. So moving forward, brother, I want to know how at this point in your life, I mean, you've created success, you got some life experiences underneath your back, and now you're traveling, to these villages and just helping a lot of people out, doing these retreats. And I'm sure you're doing some other stuff. I mean, how have you created this traction, routines, and rhythms to create this predictive success and kind of just this, I guess you would straight up say this traction out of the uniform?
You see, because it's hard for me to talk about the transition, because it's like I feel like so much has happened since I've gotten out. Right, I got out in 2010, and that's like 8 years. That's like a lot has happened in 8 years.
We're all in different stages of the transition, though.
Right, exactly. So I guess to say that I encountered in 2016, I encountered a very deep, dark depression. Very deep. I went into I literally felt I had achieved hell. Like I felt like I had gotten to hell. And in that stage, I got connected with myself on a very different level, where I realized, all right, I'm not going to stay here because I choose not to. So I'm going to figure out a way to get out of here. And it was that constant struggle of how do I live a life that's designed by me? How do I live a life that I feel proud to live? How do I design a life and start living a life that I don't feel obligated to live, that I don't feel pressured to live? How do I live a life that's freely, and me being me at the most me I can be attracts everything I've ever desired and wanted in my life? Where it's no longer I work. It's that poem, that master in the art of living. Right. You never know if he's working or playing. And I can't remember word for word, but it's that. It's really getting to that. So in the process, there's a lot of room for error, a lot of, well, let me try this. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. Let me try this. Yeah, that's not what I want to do. Okay, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. And it was a constant dance. Not with people and what people thought about what I was going through. A lot of times people thought I was going crazy. I thought I was going crazy in the process. Yeah. Right. But I was willing to risk my sanity to be able to live a fulfilled life. Like, I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to just settle for what people want me to do. No. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what. And if that includes my sanity, well, then be it. But I'm not going to settle for anything less. And in the process, I took that leap. There was times where I had no money. I ended up I remember 2015, I went to Colombia with $150 to my name. That was it. Wow. Nothing else.
Holy cow.
No credit cards, nothing. Nope. That was it. 100. And I'm like, fuck it. If I know who I am in America, if I've been able to create the level of success I've been able to create in America, then shit, you mean to tell me I can't do it in a third world country? Bullshit. Let me find out. And I did. And I took that leap of faith. But it was in that leap of faith that I discovered a lot about myself. It was in that leap of faith, the constant, I don't know what this is going to look like. I got to experience the first time in my life, 2015, what it was to have absolutely no money. Nothing, not even a fucking penny. Like, not even a penny. I remember that day, like, I remember passing by the bakery. And I was walking in Colombia with Bam Bam. And I'm walking by and I smell this bakery and I could smell the bread. It's the most amazing smelling bread ever. Like, the butter is still on it. Like, oh. And I go and I look and the bread was worth the equivalent of an American penny. That's how much it was. And I didn't even have that to my name. And at that moment, I remember I went down to the sidewalk and I started to cry, not because I felt bad for myself, but because I had just been given a blessing. I had just been given the blessing of knowing what it felt like to have nothing and yet realize how ungrateful I had been my entire life when I had so much more. I was like, whoa, I've been so blessed in my life and I never even knew it.
Bro, that moved me, man. That moved me. I'm just like taking that in right now, man. And yeah, I mean, that was powerful, man. Yeah.
At that moment, I realized, I was like, wow, I've been so ungrateful. Again, you don't know how blessed and gifted you are until you have nothing. Then it's like, whoa, holy fuck, I've been so ungrateful. Now it's how do I turn that around and really start to live and create the life that I can be grateful for, that I don't take for granted, that I get to say, I live today and I got to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday. Because I may not have done everything, but I did at least one thing that got me closer to that highest version of myself. So therefore today it's a win. I may have failed in that step, but I took the step.
Wow.
Don't quit.
Brother, that is amazing, man. Just like, thank you for bringing us to that situation. Just how you said it was powerful, man. I mean, people are saying, love it, powerful, just thank you for just opening your heart right there and putting us right there in that moment for you, because there's a lot of us, man, that ponder on what it would be like if we just let go, right? Just for one day, kind of just let go. I know I'm one of them. Kind of just let go of all the expectation around us and just kind of went and became a nomad or an adventurer for a couple months. Just gave it all up and just see what happens. And you did it. You created a tremendous amount of success, man, in your life before then. And for you to give all that ego up, I guess is the first word that thinks in my head, and just share authentically around walking through a village saying, hey, you smelled this thing, and you realize, wow, there's power in actually not having anything, and
a lot of power.
This is like crazy, because I want the viewers that are seeing this now and seeing this later, I'm going to add some coating, some icing onto what you just said, is guys, once people start saying things multiple times around you, take the case that that's the feedback loop telling you that you need to be going that route, or you need to be talking to somebody, or take that as a calling. Because I went on a hike with a Marine 2 weeks ago that said, Chris, once I got down to nothing and I lived in my car by choice for 6 months, he's just like, I realized that there was no threat, and I realized that there was no risk in life. It was all human interpretation. He's like, I got more clear on who I am and what life is about in those 6 months than I ever have. And you'll never know until you let go of people's expectations of you around you, and actually the expectations that you have for yourself, and just allow yourself to just kind of be for a little bit. And I think that's just super powerful, man. And you casting that in here, I think a lot of viewers can get a lot around that. And you definitely trusted yourself in that moment. I'm happy you did, because that story is going to empower and inspire a lot of veterans that are watching this live, which it already has, and repurposing this and posting it to other groups, and everyone that's going to see this after this show is going to get a lot from what you just said. So just thank you for who you are. Thank you for being wide open in your heart, brother. So we've been on here for almost an hour, bro. You are the longest guest I've ever had on this show, primarily because I love the shit out of you, for one. And I just knew it. I was just like, I left the gym early this morning because I was just like, you know what? I've got to get in here, get this set up for Sebastian, because I know anytime we're in a conversation, man, it's just powerful. You're an amazing guy, man. So before we let you go, I want to do two things. I want you to drop in 3 golden grenades inside the tribe on what can impact an ambitious veteran's life right now. And then from there, I want you to share what you're most passionate about in your life right now and how these veterans can come and find you.
All right. So you said 3 nuggets, and all right, let's start with 3 nuggets. First step.
First step. Let's do it.
Take the first step. Don't worry about the second. Don't worry about the third. Don't worry. Take the first one. Once you take the first one, you'll know if you want to take the second one or if you should take the second one. Just take the action. 2, if you don't know your purpose, make your purpose to discover your purpose. That simple. Like if you don't know what you're willing to die for, go figure that out. Go do the work and figure out, what am I willing to die for? Like, what am I willing to serve? What am I willing to give the rest of my life to? If there can be one thing that can like really fulfill me, what would that be? And if you don't know the answer, that's fine, but go ask yourself. Don't ask your family. Don't ask your parents. Go ask yourself. Ask yourself, what do I want and where do I want to go? You see, here's the beauty about doing the work and transformation, that you get to a point where you really get that anything is possible. The dilemma then becomes is, in a world where anything is possible, what do I actually want? You see, it's very easy to choose something when you're limited and that's all you got to choose. You're in the military, you only got one rank system to choose. You can either go enlisted or officer. Choose. And now you know that you got to be in those 2 railroads, and that's where you're going to get to. In life, anything is possible. So therefore, what do I want? 3rd one. Don't quit. If you quit, you only delay the process. Don't quit. Why would you quit? Because your life is so much better the way it is now, but it could be so much better. So why quit? Why not go for it? Why not take that leap of faith? Why not believe that you actually deserve everything you've ever dreamed of? Why not? Never quit. All right. And then what was the other thing you told me to do?
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Yeah, man. Tell these ambitious vets that are going to be watching this now and later, where can they go and find out more information? Just kind of tell them more about what you're passionate about, what you're working on right now, and just, where they can come and find you, brother.
Sure. So my website, Ignite with Sebastian, www.ignitewithsebastian.com. And that's the best way to find me. What am I most passionate about? Seeing people succeed. That's what I'm passionate about. I love to see people overcome traumatic shit. I love to be able to hear stories when someone's able to look at me in the eyes and say, I've never shared that with anybody, and now I feel I can share it with the world. That to me is powerful, because it's healing, because it means that what used to dictate their life no longer has an impact on them. And now they have freedom to be whoever they want to be. That is what I'm passionate about. To be able to see leaders literally start to lead their lives and start to make an impact on this world. That's what I'm passionate about. So if that seems like something you're in the lines or you're looking for, anybody out there looking for, Ignite with Sebastian, let's book a time. If you're into retreats or traveling, like I said, next month I'll be in Colombia for the whole month. May will be Ecuador and June will be Brazil. And those are the only ones that I'm sharing for now.
You teasing people, man. But guys, ambitious vets. I mean, I can't tell you enough about what I've gotten from Sebastian. Anytime I'm around his presence, he's always a value-driven person, and he's very integrous as well. Guys, he's just an amazing person. As you can see, he leads with his heart. He leads with his passion. He's always figuring out, how do I help the person I'm talking to or the audience I'm talking to? How do I elevate their mindset to get them to where they want to be? So guys, I charge you guys to go and connect with this man. Like, biggest thing I learned when I got out of the uniform is opportunity comes through your network, right? If you're not digging into people that are speaking to your heart and figuring out how they got there, because this man, obviously, he is his brand. I talk a lot about being your brand. Well, he is your brand. Everything he said, he has done, right? There's a lot of people out in the world that say things but haven't done it. And they don't have weight to their words, right? That's why TD Jakes, this spiritual guy that he is, he has so much weight to his words because he's lived it. And that's why he has millions of viewers. If you guys want to start creating a personal brand that monetizes, or a business that monetizes, do what you're teaching others. Sebastian is a man that was making great money in the financial industry as a trainer and building big teams of people, and gave it all up to go chase what he really wanted, because he got he got in solitude, he got into his intuition and uncovered that he was being a fraud. So guys, if that message speaks to you, I request that you reach out to Sebastian immediately. I'll post his website below. Brother, I just want to thank you for being a part of the show, man. It was amazing. Great conversation.
Dude, thank you so much for everything, bro, for allowing me to be on your platform, for first and foremost creating this platform and creating the platform with the intention of helping service members. I think oftentimes civilians don't really understand what military members go through, right? And so it takes one to know one, and it doesn't matter what branch. We all served. We all signed the contract willing to die for a country. So therefore, we're all selfless in that way. We believed in something and we're willing to die for it. And so being able to create a platform where you get to empower those people is a magic, a gift. It's a blessing. So thank you. And I acknowledge you for your commitment and for your stand for really helping military vets transition into empowered lives. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We need more people like you, dude.
Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vets. Episode number 36 with Sebastian Hernandez, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. As you could tell, tons of chemistry on screen. I really did not want to finish that conversation. That guy has a mass amount of just wisdom of going all the way to the top, going back to the bottom, and working his way up from within out. Sounds like a lot of us veterans that I got from this, this conversation in general, me included 5 years ago, is a lot of us pursue this external fulfillment versus coming from within out, and Sebastian is doing just that, laying out the example. So guys, if you guys want to get connected with him, look at the show notes, get connected with him, follow his journey. I know he's somewhere in the world, somewhere right now, leading a village, helping people become more enlightened and understand who they are and how to operate more fulfilling every single day. So guys, as always, I love you guys coming in here and listening. But guys, if we're going to grow this podcast where we all know where this can go, guys, the best way you grow anything, start causing a ripple effect and having flow as far as cash flow, fulfillment, happiness, and all that flowing in your life is adding value to other people's lives, guys. And also providing us at the Ambitious Vet feedback, guys. So if you guys have any positive feedback, constructive feedback, or even if you would like to be a guest on the show or have someone in mind, please email me at choffman@vettrainingcoaching.com. That's 2 F's, 2 N's at vettrainingcoaching.com. You guys are the lifeblood of this show, and you guys are what makes this or breaks this, and we understand that here. So guys, as always, we already know that you're warrior made. To become passion-driven, guys, take one golden grenade that we talked about today on the show and get out there and leverage it. Find opportunities to implement one thing, guys. And I promise in the next 3 months, 6 months, or even maybe 12 months, it doesn't even matter, guys, you will be living that passion-driven life. Now, Ambitious Vets, let's go get it.